Orange team.
Hey guys, I'm Tim.
I'm Bob.
I'm Spencer.
This is the Board Game Rundown. Today we are doing a preview of Hollywood 1947 from Facade Games. So if you know anything about Facade Games, they have this series of games where they look like they come in a book.
Yeah, that's awesome.
But actually like a book that you keep a gun in.
Yeah.
No, it's real looking enough that when you put it on the table, I thought it was a book.
You thought it was a book. Yeah. Yeah, it's even like a little weathered looking and everything.
I like it.
Yeah, it looks super cool. Really nice components inside. So this is just a preview. Facade sent us this to preview. This is unpaid and everything like that. So we're just so you know, right? This will be coming to
Full disclosure.
Crowdfunding soon. But yeah, and then we'll pass this along to another reviewer. But basically in this game, it is 1947 Hollywood, and we are trying to make movies, but we want to make patriotic movies, not communist movies, right? Because one or more of the players is going to be a communist, trying to sneak communist propaganda into our films. And so we're all going to have different jobs. And a different loyalty. You could be a patriot, you could be a communist, you could be a rising star. Is that it?
Yeah,
that's it. And so the Patriots' goal is to have 4 movies made that are patriotic. The communist goal is to have 4 movies made that have a majority of the communist symbols. And then the Rising Star, this is amazing. The Rising Star's objective is to play both sides. They win when 7 movies are made, and the 7th movie ends in a tie for either team, or +1 for either team.
That just sounds so hard.
I love it. I love it, though. You're kind of a wild card.
I'd be like, yeah, Rising Star should probably be the editor.
So the really cool thing about this game, with the way it works, and it, even if like we kind of know that maybe Spencer is the communist, it's still we have to really still be active to
keep him from, because he still gets to participate.
He still gets to participate, and it's really difficult, I think, especially if there's more players and you're not sure who a communist is,
right?
Or if there's more than one
how
communist.
Many could there be? Yeah.
Like to mitigate, like control all of these things, right? But what they do, a really clever thing in this game is where they give you all of these jobs, these movie jobs, right? So there's a screenwriter. They're going to get to, if they decide to do their job, they're going to get to draw 2 of these types of movies. Secretly, look at it, choose which one they're going to make. And then, because the movie is already going to lean either to be patriotic, neutral, or communist. And it may lean heavily. Right,
it could be 2 icons.
We did see one genre that had 2. Oh yeah, there's 2 genres. That
Patriots.
One horror had. And film noir has communist. The comedy has patriot. So anyways, there's that. There's the producer will allow you to swap any 2 job cards. That means you could swap your own job card, or you could swap with somebody else. You could make other
2 other
people
swap.
You can make them swap from the middle, because the remaining jobs are always available.
It's actually a pretty powerful ability once I figured out how to use this.
And I like that makes sense, right? You're the producer. You're like, no. I'm footing the bill here.
Yeah.
He's doing this.
The
You're doing
stays
that.
in the picture.
Yeah.
Then there's the director. They can give a token to any player, and the token is going to allow that player to spend it in a future round to put a card in. The gaffer, which is really neat, lets you re-roll dice up to 3, but you can make other people roll their dice. And then let's see, the cinematographer force any player to discard their hand and draw 3 new cards. You could do that to yourself if you don't like the cards that you have in your hand. Then there's the actor and the actress basically do the same thing. Any player to draw 2 cards, then discard 2 cards. It's a really good way to cycle through your hand, or make somebody else like, oh, I feel like, Bob's a communist and he's probably got like a lot of good cards. So I'm going to make him, hopefully get him to draw some patriot cards or something. That was 6 and 7. 8, the composer, super neat. Draw 2 cards, add 1 face down to the movie, discard the other.
Just the music you're making for the movie can inspire patriotism or communism.
Right, and so you just get to put that card in.
Yep.
Then number 9, which is by far the best job, just because I just, again, love the way that this works, is that they draw 1 card from the movie and they're going to choose to keep it or cut it. So normally what's going to happen is, for every star that you have, because you're going to have a die in front of you, and if you've got a star, you can add a card to the picture.
Yep.
face down secretly. Then once everybody has added their cards, you're going to top deck one, right? You're going to add one randomly, you're going to shuffle, and you're going to discard one. But if there's an editor and the editor for their action did their job, they then get to look at that card and decide
choose whether to put it back in or not.
Yeah, which is so cool,
it's very
so thematic.
Powerful, yeah, and thematic too.
And so, like, if you've got a token and a star, you could add 2 cards, right? I could spend this and add 2 cards. And then the cards we would reveal, and it's a majority for the Patriots, makes it a patriotic picture. You take one of these blue patriotic things, and slap it over that movie. If it's tie, it's a communist picture, tie or greater communist. And then for the last round, there's a rising star one. Oh, yeah, the rising star one's here. So in that 7th picture...
slap it down.
They could slap it down and make that work. So there's no player elimination.
Nope.
The other thing, so I should say, during your turn, you can do your job, or you could re-roll dice, or you could change jobs.
Yes.
So, like, it's pretty straightforward, like, what you can do. Because, like, there was a round where I actually had only bad cards in my hand and didn't want to contribute.
Right.
And so it's like, well, I'm going to roll to try to not get a star because I don't want to add a card, because you have to add a card if you have a star.
Yep.
So they do a really interesting job of trying to of not only mitigating participation, but adding extra ways that are thematically appropriate and clever. Like, not just appropriate, but like really interesting, right? All right, guys, that's basically how the game's played. You play till either the you make 4 patriotic movies, or 4 communist movies, or the Rising Star wins in round 7 if they can pull that off. So what are your thoughts, guys?
I like the theme of it and how well they implemented it. The idea, I love the little jokes and things you see on the movies themselves.
Sure. Yeah, the styles of movies.
Yeah, the styles of movies and everything. And they're like, the romance is going to be patriotic. The film noir is going to be communist.
Yeah, and the artwork. I really like the art style.
Me too.
This is really good. I love it. The documentary is communist.
Yeah.
I don't know if they randomly decided these or not, but it's really fun.
It struck me really neat how these jobs all kind of happen in the order you typically have like a movie made, right? So first you have the screenwriter. He's trying to figure out what kind of movie do I want to make. And then you got to find yourself a producer who's going to foot the bill, right? And then after that, you got to get yourself a director, and the director's going to be like, all right, well, we got to get like this lighting guy. He's really good. And I know this other guy's really good at cinematography, but then we need our actors and actresses. Who's going to be the leads in this? And once you have the actors and actresses, we got to have music in it. So you get your composer.
Yes.
And once the composer's done with the music and putting those things in there, you have the editor who finishes everything up. And even though he's been told, you should probably cut this, he can be like, I'm going to slide it in there.
Yeah.
You know, and this is a very cool way, like all those jobs, it's very thematic. I appreciated that.
Yeah, I'm just so impressed with how much not only this makes sense, but is critical to gameplay.
Yeah.
So again, it's really exciting. A game doesn't have to have a great theme for me, but I love movies.
When it does, yeah.
And this theme... it's like, okay, I'm already interested because of the theme. And even this era of movies, I think, is really interesting because you're dealing with like the blacklist and all that stuff.
Sure.
And people either rightly or wrongly being blacklisted, right? Yeah. But just what a really awesome way to integrate like the Red Scare, but also like the importance of order as far as like the jobs and making a movie and the way that you can slide things in there. I mean, it was just really cool.
Yeah. These tokens are super cool. I'm pretty sure is this going to be basically the final?
Yeah,
pretty close to the finished product.
I feel like this is probably pretty close.
Yeah,
pretty close to what the
maybe some slight tweaks. Like I don't really think you really need these overlays, but they are nice.
Yeah, I think it's like just a nice
way
thing
to keep
add.
score. Yeah.
But the insert's great, right? Everything fits in. It's like a magnetic closed box,
which is nice.
Right? It's gonna sit on there.
Yeah,
on your shelf, just like that. Looks like a book. But yeah, I mean, the artwork's great. The gameplay was super fun. I wish, because we've got to pass this along, I wish I had more time with this game because I want to play it with like a bunch of different player counts and everything. But even at 3, when we played it, I felt like it didn't go too fast. I felt like there was some tense moments.
Yeah, well, like having the 2 different jobs, like then you're able to like swap and then do that action on the next round if you want to.
Because with 3 players, you each get 2 jobs and 2 dice.
Right.
Correct.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. And you can even play this solo, which is
really
interesting. Yeah, there's solo rules in there.
Is there a 2-player?
Yeah, 1 to 9.
That's crazy.
Well, I know I'm the Patriot, so I guess I know what you are. Then.
Yeah, right.
No, I'm the Patriot.
So yeah, and there's a couple other variations and things like that, but the rules are very straightforward.
Yeah.
They don't have a rule book in this version, so I printed out my own. But I just was really. Yeah, I mean, Jason from the Board Game Mechanics recommended. He's like, "Oh, you guys might like this game," and I have always kind of admired Facade Games from afar. So to get our hands on one early and to check it out is pretty cool.
Yeah,
and really didn't disappoint. But so this is a Kickstarter preview or a crowdfunding preview. So we're not going to rate it, but we will go around and just say that if we recommend it or not. Do you have any other final thoughts before we go into recommendations?
I don't think so.
Spencer, start us off. What do you think?
Yeah, I would recommend it. Anyone who likes film, or anyone who likes history, or if you just like this kind of game, the secret trader kind of thing. Yeah, I'd recommend it.
Yeah. So Bob, you're the least fan of social deduction style games.
Correct.
So your opinion will be interesting to me on this.
So my biggest beef with social deduction type games is the need to have to develop things out of whole cloth. I don't really like things that have an underlying theme or underlying game.
Bob scratched his head while we had our eyes closed.
Oh, that's definitely him.
Yeah.
No. But I enjoy that. So this is as far as social deduction.
You don't enjoy that. You said you enjoy that, creating things out of whole cloth.
No. Oh, no. I enjoy this.
I see.
Yeah. No, I don't enjoy the whole cloth.
Yeah.
No. But this is really neat. I like it when there's a game underneath that there's more strategy. You have your abilities and whatnot going on. Because there's a game that we play on, and we don't have to bring up the name or anything like that. But it's here's this game. Now you have to pitch to us why that movie's going to be good. And it's just
oh, sure.
It's very subjective, and I just
it's a popularity
not my cup of
content.
tea. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Not my cup of tea. But this is great because you're still trying to there's a lot of the hidden information type stuff that you would see in a Battlestar Galactica or an Unfathomable type of thing.
Yeah.
And I enjoy that part of it. And then the different roles and how they have the different abilities. I'm curious to see how it would all work if you could either. Because with the 3 players, we could have the 2, and I could swap one out, and the next turn I could do that. But if I only have the 1 ability, and my action is to swap that role, I don't get to do anything now.
Yeah.
So I'd be interested to see how all that pans out.
It's tense.
Yeah.
And the other, yeah. No, continue.
And then I like how there's the different role, the composer. I thought was super neat. How you can look at some cards, put one in there without anybody being able to do anything about that. I thought that was neat. And then you can as if you're the director, you're what, I'm pretty sure you're a good guy. I'm gonna let you add an extra card this time. Or you give it to yourself, right? So I know I'm a good guy. I'm gonna add in. The cards I want. So I appreciate. I like this more than a lot of the other types of social deduction type.
Yeah. This really kind of not only impressed me but got me really excited for this. I want to play this more. I really would. I would say again, right? A thing that it does that other social deduction games don't do. There's no player elimination.
Right.
Even if you know. Or you think what a player is.
We totally figured Spencer was the communist, but we couldn't do anything from keeping him from.
But you still had to play it smart though, because Spencer was still able to take a movie without while being a communist.
Yeah.
And we knew it, and we couldn't stop him. And it was just
yeah, because you put one down that we don't know what it is, and then at the end you put another one down that we don't know what it is.
For 3
if someone does the composer, they get to draw 2. But if they're both communists, one of them's going in.
Yeah.
And if you have a star and all your cards are communists, one of them's going in.
Right.
So you could be forced to.
Or if you're an editor and you're well, I'm taking that Patriot card out.
Yeah, exactly.
And so the jobs and the way it all works was so cool. And I appreciate the strategy, right? The strategy that makes it more than just a social deduction game, because you can deduce everything.
Yeah.
But you still got to get everything to line up and work and work together.
It's tight. I mean, you only get 2 actions, right?
Well, normally in a larger player count game, you get one action.
One action. So everything you do is going to count.
Yeah, it gets real tight, real fast, and so
we're gonna have to trust other people, because if I don't have a star,
right,
Yep.
right. So this components wise, this is a beautiful game. I love the artwork. I found the gameplay very cool, very satisfying, really intriguing. I think this would be awesome to play with like 9 players. But what's also cool is to have a social deduction game that you can play with 2 or 3, or not 2 or 3. I would say 3 or 4.
3 or 4.
And still be good. Like, oh yeah, because I had fun playing this at 3.
Me too.
Like I thought, like, oh, that's weird that a social deduction game
at 3
worked, and so for that to actually work, and then it just looks even more interesting at the higher player counts. I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
And we would have played this at a higher player count, but like Dan got sick, some people were unavailable just with the timing of stuff. So, but I really wanted to get this on the table and be able to check it out so we could send it back off in a timely manner. But really excited for this. I think this looks super cool, and
I'd recommend checking it out.
And I would very strongly recommend it. Anything else before we let these people go?
I think that's about it.
Right on, guys. Well, for the board game rundown, I've been Tim.
I was Bob.
And I was a communist.
He was a communist, and this was Hollywood 1947. We'll see you next time.